Hey, what's up, everybody? Super excited to be safe, not having the coronavirus. No, but jokes aside, I'm so excited to. So we did this interview actually a few months back, and there were some technical difficulties, but it was still fire. And I want to recap. I mean, a lot's changed for you since then, actually.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to dive into a lot of stuff, specifically how you use contest to like grow a list, to launch a business, to launch your offers, and we're gonna dive into your secrets and what you're doing. So if you're on the replay, give me hashtag replay. If you guys are on live, a few of you guys just hopped on, give me hashtag live. Say what's up, show some love. So this man right here with the attractive beard, I gotta get on your level. I can't do this part. When I do this part, like it starts to get like I look like Mexican, dude. It just doesn't come off good. So I have to go with the Wolverine type look. But so dude, you've had some insane results with contest, and you've kind of like carved out your niche, which is cool. But also, you don't come from the marketing space. So you use marketing as a vehicle to kind of amplify your business, and you brought it to like an industry that hasn't heard about it. Like I'm sure you've like a lot of people in your industry, like they've never heard of ClickFunnels before, but you've just like, 100%. And I'm sure your affiliate dashboard is pretty nice too.
pretty good. I'm that little car is getting pretty close.
Boom. But dude, can you kind of explain? Actually, so you just spoke at FHL about this topic as well, right?
Yes.
Contest.
Yep.
So what was that experience like, sharing a stage with these big names like Tony Robbins, and there was a lot of other big people, Prince EA, Russell Brunson,
Frank Kern.
Kern like came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a trip. Man, it was a whole without going super deep into it. It was nuts. Compared to like the first time I went to Funnel Hacking Live was 2018 in Orlando. So this was my third year going, and like my experience, the difference between year 1 and year 3 like couldn't have been more different. Where like year 1, it was my first time ever really investing in my business in that kind of way. Like I'd never spent that much money, even just the plane ticket, the hotel, the ticket to go. Like at that time I was at a business where I'd never spent that much, and I was there and I kind of showed up and I was like nervous, and I felt like, man, I'm like surrounded by all these like real marketers and entrepreneurs. And I'm, all these people have businesses and niches where, the ceiling seems really high. Like they're making millions of dollars, making tens of millions of dollars. And I was kind of thinking like, man, like, I think maybe I made a mistake being here. Like, I don't know that what I do can actually translate, can actually be that successful. I'm in the music space. We can get deeper into exactly what it is, but basically I'm in the music space. And so I was kind of there, and not to mention like I'm somebody who's super anxious and shy. So I was afraid to even talk to anybody. So that's the other half the reason of being there. Right. So I was like, man, like I think I messed up. Like I shouldn't even be here. And as the event progressed, I got inspired by the speakers. I talked to people, I got more comfortable and whatever. But, compare that to now the third year, this last year being one of the speakers, walking up and seeing like that they turned me into a cartoon on this giant poster, and like my name is on this big thing next to Russell Brunson, and like, man, that was a trip. And then, speaking itself is, something that I've not done a lot of public speaking at all. So it was a pretty big jump from basically zero to, in front of whatever it was, 5,000 people. And
dude, that's like, because I just spoke to an audience of 100, and that was a little bit nerve wracking. Like I can't imagine like going from small to 5,000. Like, who are you looking at? Like, are you just looking at the people in the front row, or like?
I mean, really all you can see is the people in the first, 10 or 20 rows anyways, just because of the lights, which is probably a good thing, because otherwise it would be really scary. Actually, it was funny. On the first day I was there, and I was kind of sitting near the front, and I was kind of feeling like, all right, this doesn't feel too bad. Like stage is right there. Like I feel like I kind of remember from last year being in the same room. It almost felt bigger. I was like feeling pretty good about myself. And then for some reason I went out and I came back in through the back of the room, and then I saw the whole room, and I was like, oh crap, like this place is huge. And then I got super nervous. So it's almost like looking down, when you're like high, like, oh, I should have just like stayed at the front and not even went back there until after I spoke.
Yeah, dude, we actually, so that's funny that you mentioned the FHL 2018 Orlando. That actually, like, so that's part of my webinar too. I talk about that story, how I started there. Like, that was my first event. Like, I could barely afford the ticket. I actually slept in my car. Like, I drove up for that. And it was a whole different part of my life. But I that event is where I met the right people, and it just all went from there. So that's funny. That's cool. Okay, let's dive into it. So
Yes.
you spoke on contest funnels, correct? And
Yep.
can you explain really, really quickly for people listening on the podcast, like, what is it that you do, and like what is your niche, your business, etc.?
Yeah, for sure. So I come from music. I'm a music producer and engineer. I do a few different things, but really the main thing I do is I provide the music or the instrumentals that a rapper or singer is going to rap or sing on. So in the business, we call them beats, but people get confused when I say beats. They think I'm talking, well, first I think I'm talking about the headphones. I think I'm talking about drums, but really it's just kind of shorthand for the music. That would be like, basically if you stripped away the vocals, all the stuff that's left, that's what I do. And so in the business, we call that beats. And so I basically make and sell beats is pretty much what my job is. And a few things around that, but that's more or less kind of my background.
Yeah, this is a side tangent. Have you seen that tool from Deezer? It's called I forget what it's called, but it's like can take acapellas from like songs now.
No,
like,
I haven't seen that.
AI. It's pretty crazy. I was watching a video on it, and it could take like stems. It's not that great actually, but it's the fact that there's an AI trying to do that is pretty crazy. So how did you get started with contests? Like where was like your origin for like what was like the first contest you did? Like why did you do it actually?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, so I started out doing music, started out in the music industry, quote unquote, basically trying to sell my music to record labels, did that for 10 plus years. And then realized that I was broke and not going anywhere, even though I had, I worked with some famous rappers and had some songs on the radio and stuff like that. But I was realizing I'm not going to be able to build a sustainable business doing this. I was approaching 30 years old, still living at my dad's house, not feeling very good about myself. And that's when it was like, okay, I'm probably going to quit music, but sort of let me try as a last resort to see if I can sell my music online, if I can sell beats online. And so that's when I kind of made that transition from the music industry, quote unquote, to building my own business. And that was kind of my first exposure to marketing, and all this kind of stuff. And I feel pretty lucky that very early in that journey, I came across Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels. And so learned about all the cool stuff that he was talking about. And because I was able to apply a lot of that stuff to what I was doing, and not too many other people in my industry were, fairly quickly I was able to, climb to, near the top of that industry of selling beats online. And along the way, I was able to take a lot of the stuff that I learned, that direct response marketing stuff, using funnels, doing these different things, and figuring out how to apply them for my industry. And a lot of times it was not a direct one-to-one, where it was like the way that it was taught sometimes was like, hey, this will work perfect for, let's say, an info product, or it'll work perfect for something else. But it's kind of like this weird niche, right? And so a lot of times I had to figure out like, how can I make this work? And so one of the issues that I was facing, one of the challenges I was facing, is that I have an audience that does not have a lot of money. And I'm also selling a low ticket item, like really low ticket. Basically we're selling beats, but we're selling leases or licenses for them to use those beats. So it's like, $17, $29, that kind of price range. And so in order to get big results, I knew I was facing those challenges. And so I needed to do certain things. I needed to get a big volume of people. If I'm going to do, for example, I set out a goal to do the first 6-figure launch in my industry. I was like, okay, if I'm going to do that, and I'm doing that with an audience without a lot of money, and I'm selling a low ticket item, like I need a lot of volume. I need a lot of traffic. I need to like hack this to make this work. And that's kind of where this contest concept came from, or at least where, I started using it. And so basically what I did was the first time that I did this, and I've done this now like 4 years, I think, and it's kind of evolved over the years. But basically the idea was the grand prize that I was going to give away in this contest was every single beat we made that year. So it was like 100 beats, right? And so normally we lease them for, let's say, about $30 each. It's, whatever that value is, I don't know, a bunch of money, right? And so that was like the grand prize. And then there was sort of prizes along the way. And the way that the contest works is that people refer other people into the contest in order to get points. And then they get prizes along the way. And ultimately, whoever gets the most points wins the contest. So the idea is it becomes this viral thing, right? One person enters, they tell 2 people about it. Each one of those people, theoretically at least, tells 2 or 3 or more people, and it kind of grows, right? And so that was kind of the first part of it. And then what I did was I added on top of it. So I was like, okay, cool. That was awesome. We got a bunch of leads for free or at a discount by doing that. And then I transitioned into, hey, we're going to do an announcement. We're going to announce who the winners of the contest are. And so we make a big deal about, hey, we're making this live announcement. It's going to be awesome. You should show up. We're giving free stuff away. We're answering questions, whatever. Like, you're going to want to be there. And then during that announcement, basically, you've got all these people who entered this contest. They're excited about it. They've got momentum. And you say, hey, like, we're super excited. We're about to announce, the top 10 and the winners. But basically, we're so overwhelmed with, how much you guys resonated with our message. You were willing to share this and spread the word, that we're kind of trying to think, like, how can we keep this momentum going? And we decided that this prize, in this case, the first year, let's say, this grand prize that, you guys all wanted, that's going to really help your career, we decided we're actually going to make it available for sale at a huge discount for only $17 for the next week, right? And now the cart opens on that launch. And now all of a sudden you've got, thousands or hopefully tens of thousands of people who are motivated. They're excited. It's already been positioned as this thing that they want to win, that they're fighting to win. And now it's like, oh my God, I can get it right now for $17. Like, yeah, of course, I'm going to buy that right away. And that's sort of where it started from. And now it's kind of evolved to, the grand prize has grown and there's things that I've put around it, but that's sort of the concept of how I use that funnel to build a bunch of momentum to go into that launch, and how I was eventually able to do the first 6-figure launch in my niche or in my industry.
That's crazy, man. You just kind of opened up the fire hose of information to people. If you guys are on live, give me #live. Thank Gabe for being here, giving away all this knowledge that it works. Like, I'm sure you teach your students to do contests as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I'm taking more and more people through it. As you can imagine, after teaching it at Funnel Hacking Live in front of 5,000 people, I've had quite a few more people ask me about it.
And it's like, dude, it happens in every industry, dude, or different types of contests. I see a lot of influencers doing it now. Like Instagram, they do it a lot. Follow these accounts. Some of them look scammy. I was actually in one, and I just had a bunch of Colombian girls follow me, and it wasn't worth it because it wasn't my demographic. So you can do the right contest that actually supports your business and your brand. That's the way to do it. So I think this is the right way to do a contest. When and why should people do a contest? What? I know there's a lot of different types of contests. The one you explained was to kind of get your business launch your business, almost get it off the ground. It sounds like what are there other types of contests you can do? And can you do a yearly one, a semi, a quarterly one? And why would you do those type of contests?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of different versions, and there's a couple versions that I personally do of different kind of contests and giveaways, and I use them at different times. And really, that one that I was just explaining is something that for me personally, I've done once per year as kind of we're doing our big launch. This is our biggest launch of the year. Usually traditionally we had done it around Black Friday, just because, I don't know, that's the time to do a big launch, right? But honestly, it doesn't even have to be. In fact, this is kind of a fun little hack that worked really well for me is I was doing it on Black Friday. And so what ended up happening was that whole week, that Thanksgiving week, was literally the busiest week of the year for me and my whole team. It was so there was no vacation, there was no hanging out with family. It was horrible. And only for that reason, I made it earlier by 2 weeks. So we just said, hey, we're going to basically do our Black Friday launch 2 weeks earlier, just so that we can chill and have that time off. And one really cool side effect of that was that, if you've ever spent money on Facebook ads during the week of Black Friday, the cost is super, super high. So I kind of avoided that. So my ad cost was way less, by doing it 2 weeks early. It was also close enough, I think, that people still had a little bit of that magic of that mindset of oh yeah, they're ready to pull out their credit cards. And also they hadn't bought a bunch of other stuff. So that was a cool little hack that ended up accidentally working out really well for me, of basically doing Black Friday 2 weeks earlier, and ended up getting a bunch of benefits from it.
Yeah, actually, we got Parker here. Parker Woodward. What's up, dude?
Hey.
So I'm curious now. So there's obviously different ways to drive traffic. because in your space, like you can collab. I think like when you did your first launch, you had a lot of like other artists or something similar, like who were part of the launch. But like, what are like? Can you run through like the traffic types, and what you recommend? Because like obviously there's a lot of details in a contest launch, like the funnel and the pieces, and then, like if people want the full training, they can just go to your website, contestlaunchsecrets.com, and sign up.
Yep.
But like for this traffic piece, like can you run through some of those, like what those are?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not sure that I actually answered your last question, which is, yes, we do all kinds of, like, there's different types of contests and giveaways. Yeah, my bad. There's different types of contests and giveaways. And so some of them are like this specific one that I'm explaining has a lot of moving parts. It's the one that's like made me the most money for sure and gotten me the most customers. But there's also, I've done Instagram giveaways and different kind of things that don't take so much, planning and energy and effort, but can still be pretty effective.
So like I'm assuming then there's like the social launch where you're collaborating with other like influencers and stuff. And then there's like the paid side, like, hey, like I want to pay for more that outside of like the people I know and collaborate with, So.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. And I always like to combine some of both of those whenever possible. But yes, primarily one is more like, traditional, this is a funnel running, paid traffic and stuff to it. And the other one's a little bit more, this is on the social side. Although, like when I've done the Instagram giveaways, I found doing like, paid Instagram ads worked really, really well. And I was still able to get, leads for super cheap. And on the other side, when I've done like this whole contest launch strategy where it is going to a funnel, having affiliates has been a big part of that, a big part of that strategy. And I know that was, sorry, I'm like not answering your questions in order, but I think right. So as far as traffic sources for that contest launch strategy, I've got a few things going. One is running Facebook ads. And part of the way that I'm able to really do that is that a lot of times when people think about running a contest, they do it, it's really simple. It's like you opt in, you get your link to share, and then you share it and you get prizes. And that's the whole thing. And it's just a lead generation tool. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But one of the things that happens is if you're spending a bunch of money on that, hopefully you've got systems in place on the back end to where you are going to be selling to them, and you're going to make that money back. But to me, I want to set it up where that contest itself is like a tripwire funnel. So now I can actually profitably run paid traffic to it. And so I can, break even, or actually I was able to be profitable, run a bunch of ads, get people into this contest. And what's cool is now I'm getting people into the contest for whatever price, but really each one of those people is bringing me, whatever the math is, 1.3 or so people is about what it ended up being. So now my cost per lead is actually even a lot less. And because I'm selling them something there, I can really ramp up the paid ads. So that was number one, is those paid ads. Number two is affiliates, and just having, people who share my audience, and having them, refer people and giving them an affiliate link where it's like, hey, it's a no-brainer. This is a contest. Your audience is going to be excited about it. They can win all this really cool stuff that's going to help them out. It's free for them to enter. And hey, if they buy any of this stuff, then, we split the profits, whatever it is. So that was super, super helpful. And then what else as far as traffic? A little bit of organic, just posting content and stuff like that.
Yeah. For the affiliate piece, so now I make sense. When you're making money from the contest, the affiliate's more likely to promote it because they know like there's commissions in the back end. But like, have you ever done an affiliate collaboration where they're including products, or like I know there's some contests that people will do where everyone will get the emails or something like that, like whatever the deal is. Like, have you ever done anything like that? Do you recommend it?
I haven't exactly done that model. What I've done is something sort of like that, where it was still my thing, it was still my funnel, still my leads, but I have gotten products from other people, like getting prizes or offers, including that in there, and then having different deals, whether if it's, hey, they're there because it puts their name in front of those people, or if we're doing some kind of split. And then usually they're also an affiliate on top of that. So now they're sending traffic, they're getting 50% of whatever, or, whatever the percentage is of what people buy, whether if it includes the thing that they included or not. That's the version that I've done. I haven't actually done one where it's like, hey, let's all pool together and kind of share this list. I just haven't done that one yet. No.
Is like the tracking of that for affiliate from like a contest funnel, is that tricky, or is it just like, okay?
Yeah, it's the same as anything else, right? It's just like, hey, here's your link. They opt in just like you think of like a Tripwire final. Hey, they put their name and email here. On the second page, we're giving them that first offer. There just also happens to be this whole contest kind of smushed in the middle there.
Have you ever gotten any sponsors?
Sponsored, not officially, no. It's something that I probably will do. Actually, just Shure, who's like a big microphone manufacturer.
Yeah, you're like the maker, yeah.
They just reached out to me and they're like, hey, we just want to send you a whole bunch of microphones. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I could do this and this. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll just send you the mics and then we'll figure it out. So I don't know. so
are you SM7Bs?
What's that?
Are they sending the SM7Bs or?
They are, I know they've got some like higher, I don't know what they're going to send. Because I know
that's like the standard, like that's like the Joe Rogan mic, the Logan Paul mic.
Yes,
like
it's the broadcast mic. So I think they're going to send those, but really what they're trying to make a big push. They've gotten really known more on the broadcast side, on the video side. And they do have mics and stuff for recording studios. And so they want to make a push on that side, which I think is more of what they want to send me. Although I asked them for a bunch of other stuff that I want for like, so anyways, I don't know.
It'll be a step up.
Not something I've actively gone after yet, but I certainly should be because if they're like coming to me anyways, I'm sure if I put any effort into it, I could probably get, some cool people and get some cool stuff to put together.
I mean, it'll be a step up from your Blue Yeti. That's
I know. Yeah, I know.
Dude. So like we collaborate with someone who does like virtual summit launches. So we're gonna be doing virtual summits to podcast, right? And he gets sponsors for these virtual summits, dude. Easy 25K. Like just for like a summit front page, like, and he has these packages and it's like, hey, because if you promise attention, like people will pay for that, especially if it's like their market. And if you say like, hey, we'll include you in the launch emails or whatever, the giveaway prizes, like, it's even more money they'll pay. So
that's awesome. I definitely need to be doing more with that because, I'm sure I'm missing out there.
Cool. So, one thing, actually, this is one problem I thought of. So when it comes to the offer of the giveaway, because essentially it's an offer, right? Like you're trading like the pieces of it. If you're gonna do paid traffic, what's the blend of how you make that offer so that it's not like, for example, if I was to sell like my flagship product or sell tickets or give away tickets to my event, whatever that thing is, but like it would mean nothing to a cold person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that scenario? Like,
yeah. So for us, what we did, so like at first we just did it where it's like, hey, you get the big bundle of our stuff, and that only does so well to cold traffic, right? I mean, in our case, it still wasn't bad because it was like, hey, get 100 beats, like even if you're not sure who we are yet, that's still, it sounds pretty cool. But then what we ended up doing is leveraging other people's celebrity. So for a couple years, what we had was basically you get the chance to collaborate with a famous artist. So we had Snoop one year, we had Chris Brown one year. So now all of a sudden you run a Facebook ad that says, hey, do you want to do a song with Snoop? Yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? So if you can think of who are those people in your space and you can leverage their celebrity, that can be a great way to do it. Maybe you say, hey, we're going to get you a one-on-one consultation with, I don't know, Frank Kern or, I don't know, whatever makes sense for your audience. That could be a way to, if a cold audience doesn't know who you are, but they know who somebody else is, you can kind of leverage that.
Yeah. For like the offer in general, are you usually like shooting for like a certain amount of things, like a certain amount of winners? Like what are like your things you go by?
Yeah. So grand prize is like the big one, right? Something that's super exciting. It's going to get,
which is like grand prize is like what you want to make the offer essentially, right? Or what you want to like announce.
Yes. So the way it's kind of developed is that the grand prize is something that's really not repeatable. It's not something that I can really sell. But what I give for the top 10 ends up being the thing that I'm actually selling later when I do that launch. Just because that grand prize has evolved so much. That's like, well, I can't.
Oh, so the grand prize is like one person, like, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is now. The first year I did it, and that's what I explained a minute ago, which is, was the grand prize was the thing I was selling. But then I was like, okay, how can I pour some gasoline on this fire? Because just like you said, if I'm running ads that say, hey, get 100 beats from Legion Beats, like, yes, some people know who we are, but to a cold audience, it's not that exciting. So then that's when I started leveraging all these different things to where it's like, okay, now it's like this grand prize that's really expensive that I can't sell really later, but let me make the top 10 be this thing that I'm actually going to end up selling later.
Gotcha.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. And then obviously every industry is different, right? Do you ever give away technology? Like, do you like that? Are you against that? Or like just like AirPods or like laptops or iPads? Like,
I haven't. To me, I would mostly stay away from it because the whole idea is you really want to get people, you want your target audience, right? That's the whole point, is you want to attract more of your dream client. And so when you start doing stuff that's really broad, like an iPad or, you know, a MacBook or whatever, then now you're attracting, your dream client's probably interested in that, but so is everybody else. You
yeah.
know, so I would really try as much as possible to keep it pretty honed in. Like for us, this most recent year, what we did was we called it the studio takeover. So it's like, hey, if you win this, we're going to fly you out to our studio. We're going to record, mix and master a song for you. We're going to shoot and edit a music video. We're going to come up with a strategy to promote your single and help you promote it. You know, all the stuff that's like, if you are our dream client, if you're an up and coming rapper or singer, like that sounds amazing, right? But if you're not, it doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't know, if you're not, you're going to fly out here and try to do a song. So that's like the ideal, is that you want something that's really exciting to your ideal client, but not really exciting to everybody else.
Gotcha. Yeah, that reminds me of what's up, Kiona? We got Kiona #live. Nathan Hirsch, what's up, guys? Thanks for the comments. That reminds me of like Ty Lopez, like when he gave away a car, like this over the top stuff. Like this works. Someone else was doing that recently. I think Dean Graziosi. He was just giving away like 20,000 in cash.
Yeah,
which I mean, like, isn't specific. Like, if he would have followed your model, maybe they could have launched something.
I mean, hey, Dean Graziosi, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Do you ever use SMS like as for any part of your contest funnel?
So it's something that I just started to do this most recent time, and I'm playing with more and more. So yeah, I'm super excited to use it more. But to me, that's like super, super important. I mean, Facebook Messenger had been a big part of what I'd been doing.
Yeah, they've changed a lot.
They've changed quite a bit. It used to be amazing. Oh my God. Like, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, I mean, and we built up a good list. We have, you know, well over 50,000, I want to say 60 or 70,000 on that messenger list. And so it used to be like, I could just write whatever I want, click a button, and then like 50,000 phones would vibrate and my message would pop up. Like, it was awesome. It was so cool. And then now all that's changed, and they suspended my messenger account. So
when did they suspend it?
This was actually in the middle of the most recent contest last year. So yeah, and it's been basically off since. I've been appealing it. It's that whole, you know, it's like when you get an ad account shut down, you can kind of appeal it and try, and hopefully. So
yeah, I think when you have a bigger list, it gets tricky, because if you get a certain amount of like whatever false flags, like then it's like bad.
Yeah. So and I was abusing it. I was definitely violating. Violating the terms.
Marketers ruin everything. That's what they say. So
what's that?
Marketers ruin everything.
Yeah. And I was definitely ruining it. So I guess so SMS I'm excited about, because, you know, I kind of had this false idea in my head that was like, oh yeah, like getting somebody on your list means email or messenger or SMS. And it's like, no, like messenger, that Mark Zuckerberg owns that. Like, that's not your own list. Like, it's cool, just like all these other social media platforms are cool, but messenger is not your own list. The only things that are your own list are really email and SMS. I guess maybe push notifications. I don't know. But
podcasts in a way, but
yeah, there you go. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Podcast is actually a great example, right?
It's like an audio email list. Like, you own the RSS feed, you know?
Yes. So. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. I just had an awesome question, but I forgot. So like, how do you incentivize people to share like the contest? Because that's the whole point of it, right? Like, to get people to share to one person, so two people see it, and then like the whole trickle effect. So like, how are you incentivizing the share? I know, like, obviously there's some tech things, and you know, Up Viral is what you use that helps that piece. Are you doing like prizes for just the people who share the most? Like,
yeah, for sure. And this is one of the things where, you know, I've now had a lot of people, you know, talk to me and say like, oh yeah, I tried to do a contest, but it didn't work. And a lot of times the biggest reason is that people weren't willing to share the contest. And so I kind of came up with,
because like, if you feel like you don't have to, you're like, oh, I just care about myself, I'm just gonna enter the contest. And
Yeah, and then now you don't have a content. Now it's not the whole point is that people are sharing it, right?
Yeah, and those people are probably already following you, So
right. Yeah, exactly. And so a few things that I do. I'll kind of give my top 3 here. So first thing is that you want to justify the reason why you're doing that type of contest. And so basically what we do is like if you get on there and you say, hey, like we are doing this contest because we want you to bring us a bunch of customers for free, then that's not very inspiring, right? It doesn't sound like something that somebody wants to do. So instead, we say, hey, we want help spreading the word about our mission. And for us, when we ran this contest for Legion Beats, it's like, hey, our mission is to tell independent recording artists that they shouldn't sit around waiting for a record label to save them, like what I did for 10 plus years and struggled, but instead empower them to use all these incredible tools and resources and things that are available today so that they can take responsibility, take control of their own career and have success. And that's what we stand for. And we want help spreading the word about that mission. And now if that's the context of that contest, now all of a sudden it's not just that they're like, they want to win. So they're going to spread the word. They're going to share their link, but they're like, oh, I feel good about that. And not only that, but basically if you think about why do people, post on social media, it's pretty much to increase their status and or to reinforce their identity or the identity that they want, right? And so if you can make that prize, the thing that they're sharing, align with one or both of those things, they're much more likely to share it. So now somebody who's an independent artist, who's proud, who's saying like, hey, I'm going to be successful on my own, like I believe in this, now them sharing this contest is now elevating their status and reinforcing their identity. So now they want to share it. Now, if our prize was, hey, we're going to give you an iPad if you bring us more customers, now if they're sharing that, what they're telling their friends and family is like, oh, I'm somebody who enters dumb contests because I want like free stuff, So that's a big one right there, is that context around what the prize is and why you're asking them to share it. Second thing is to incentivize them along the way. So like so we have this grand prize where it's whoever refers the most people wins this grand prize. It's this huge thing. It's awesome. But an objection to that, which is pretty common, is, hey, I don't have a ton of followers. Maybe I don't have a ton of friends. There's no way I'm going to win. So why would I even share my link once? So what we say is, if you just get 3 other people to enter the contest, we're going to give you this prize. And then if you get 10 people to enter the contest, we're going to give you this prize. And if you get into the top 10, we're going to give you this prize. So that way, no matter where they're at along in the process, they're always incentivized to keep sharing. Because again, even if they feel like they don't know anybody, they're like, well, I could probably get 3 people. Like maybe let me email this out or post on Facebook or whatever, something. And then once they get those 3, they're like, well, damn, I got 3. Like I could probably get 7 more and get 10. Like that prize looks awesome right there.
Yeah, so, people really like had to grind. Like they could take their mom's phone or their brother's phone. Like they'll do it.
Exactly. And then the third and final one that I'll mention is one that's super important that really makes a big difference between sort of a contest really going viral or not. And it answers a very common objection that people might have, which is maybe they feel like they do have a pretty decent chance of winning the contest, but they don't want to share it with like too many people. They don't want to share it with the wrong person, because what if they share it with the person who wins instead of them, right? So now it's like, I don't know, I kind of want to share it, but I'm not sure. So the way that we overcome that objection is we say, hey, if you refer the grand prize winner, then you win it too. And now all of a sudden, so now all of a sudden you're rewarding them not only for just bringing in as many people as possible, but also bringing in people that are most likely to win. And those are the people that are going to have a larger audience that are going to bring in even more of your dream clients. So now you're crushing that objection to them sharing it. They're incentivized to bring you even better people in to your contest, and it becomes kind of a win-win. And that one's a big one right there.
So your grand prize usually have it for 2 people?
So far, no. Because it's happened to work out where the person who won it was somebody who either came from our existing list, came from an ad, came from an affiliate, came from something other than being referred by somebody. But we're always prepared. We're ready. Like, hey, it's going to be worth it to us. We're still going to end up profitable. Like it's, so far it's happened to work out that no, we haven't had to give away to, but we're prepared to. And I think it's worth it even if we had to.
Well, actually, just because it's on my mind, like, for that paid traffic piece, like what do you see? Because you said Instagram stories worked well. And obviously, like, depending on your niche, like different platforms could work well. Maybe YouTube, maybe Pinterest, other platforms have good ad stuff. But like, what creative, like what's the hook you're going for? Are you just going straight? Because I know Facebook's a little tricky. You can't say like dollar amount. You have to be like careful with what you say. Like, what do you find at creatives working? Like, are you doing like a video? Or are you doing like graphics? Like,
yeah, I've done both. Usually the hook is really whatever that grand prize is, right? Because that's the most exciting
thing, like like a no-brainer type thing.
Yeah. And then that could be a video, it could be an image. So like when we did the studio takeover thing, it was more video and like really nice video of the studio. And you know, basically saying, hey, how would you like to take over our studio? When we were doing like, do you want to do a song with Snoop? We did more, you know, images where it's just like a picture of Snoop. It was like, hey, do you want to do a song with Snoop? It's like, yeah, of course.
Wait, that's big actually, leveraging celebrities. Like I literally know people in the agency space, like the pay traffic. They literally launched and they teach this too. And they have successful students just because this one method. So cameo.com, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes.
They'll get like Kevin Harrington to shout out their company. Like, you know, I'm a gym owner and I do leads for gym businesses. They'll get Kevin Harrington to say, this business is amazing. And that's like drives all of their paid ad calls and stuff. So the power of celebrities, man, and like authority and like, because the trust, I think it's the biggest cognitive bias people have, you know, like if they could trust you and they can like, they'll buy from you. So
yeah,
cool. So we can wrap up here soon. I have a few more questions, but I'm curious, like, what are the like, so the funnel pieces, right? So after you have the giveaway, you announce the giveaway, like, how are you? And you say you drop the offer on a live announcement.
Yeah.
What is that like funnel? Like, what do you usually? So what do you like to sell in the front end? Like what price point? And then like the OTOs, are they different offers? Are they like, how do you like to like structure that funnel piece?
Yeah. So for me, you know, for my audience, I'm keeping it low ticket. And so, yeah, so that first offer was a $17 offer. It, you know, irresistible. You know, every beat we made this year is something that if you bought it all together, it would be whatever, thousands of dollars. And then, you know, and then build from there, right? So we have an order form bump where it's like, hey, for $47, you can upgrade the license of what you're, you know, basically what you're able to do with those beats. We actually had 2 options on that first page as well, where you can get the, you know, that package, we call it the vault of like every beat we made that year. And then we had like, hey, we also have the secret calendar of the beats we're going to be releasing for the next 3 months. If you'd like to add that on, that's another $25. So now they've got basically that 17, they can add another 25, and then they can add another 47. So just on that first page, they could actually end up spending, I think it was 89 total. And then, so I know like the rule of thumb, the Russell's usual rule is 2 OTOs, right? Otherwise you start annoying your customers. And that is usually what I do year round. But for this, since we do it once a year, I feel okay with being a little more obnoxious and actually do 3 OTOs. And so like last year we had, the first one was, I believe, a 97. The second one was like a 2 option of like I think it was like 57 and 97. And then the third one was actually a 5-day, $5 trial that went into a $17 a month subscription.
Interesting. Was there downsells or just?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Actually, dude, I just thought of this actually. I forget which funnel I saw this in like 2 years ago. They did a giveaway or like some sort of, I don't know if it was a contest, maybe a giveaway, same difference, right? Like, that after you enter, like, I forget what it was, like they actually charged to enter, but you got something on top of it. So it was like, I think it was $1 or $5 to enter, but they also gave you this cool thing and you got entered into win a prize. But on the next page, it was like, some stupid offer, like $5 more and you'll get 100 more entries, like something crazy. And I was like, interesting. What if you could sell entries to a giveaway? Yeah. Have you ever seen that? Or
I have not.
I mean, I think it'll be some friction because, like, I mean, you probably wouldn't want that in the front end for them to pull out their credit card for more entries. Like, it would probably be after like a 1-click type upsell. But yeah, have you heard of that before?
I haven't. I mean, yeah. It's probably worth experimenting with. To me, I don't know. I feel like the positioning is weird where it's like, hey, you know, especially if I'm getting on there and I'm trying to give that heartfelt, like the reason we're doing this is spread the word about our mission. And then if we're saying like, hey, if you give us $5 though, we'll give you like more entries. It doesn't quite vibe with that messaging that I'm using. So depending on sort of what your angle is and your audience, then that might make sense. I think the specific way I was using it, I probably wouldn't do that. But
yeah, that territory is getting more into like lottery ticket like type stuff.
Yeah, and if that's your audience and that's your vibe, then that will probably work.
Cool. So how do you help people who like suck at building funnels? Like, is that piece like, I mean, I'm sure you try to keep it simple, right? Is it like simpler than people think? Or I mean, do you even recommend people to hire funnel builders for doing a contest or?
Yeah, I mean, just sort of generally speaking, I mean, well, okay, so I'll say this: the people that I'm specifically helping, I'll just give like my share funnels with the funnels that I've done, and that usually, depending on, as long as they're not too far as the industry they're in and the audience and stuff, usually gives them a pretty good starting point. I mean, it's all about where you're at in your business and speed, right? If you can afford to hire somebody to do it, then do that. I mean, I don't know. I'm like just starting to get, not that I'm just at the point where I can afford to, but like I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like I'm getting smart enough that I'm like, yes, I can build the funnel and write the copy on the page and write all the emails and do all the traffic and do all, like, yes, like I used to think that made me smart, and now I think that actually makes me dumb. And like, no, I should not be doing all this stuff. So that's just where I'm personally at in my progression. I think it depends where you're at, right? If you're just starting out, I think probably learning at least a little bit about all those components is good. And that way, at least, the very least, when you're hiring people, you have some idea of if they're doing a good job or not, because you understand it to some extent. So yeah, if you're first starting out, then I say I think it's a good thing to learn a little bit about all those things. And if you're at a point where you're already generating revenue and you're doing good, like I think probably a mistake that I make is waiting too long to get help, where I should just be like buying my time back by getting more help. And I'm in the process of that and actually having people helping me with the copy and the funnels and traffic and all that kind of stuff.
That's some sage advice, man. Austin Ford says, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Missed this, but I want to go back and listen." Yeah,
we're
going to the podcast soon. This will probably be out like the week of the 23rd, which is I think when you're announcing or you're starting your training. For like a week?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, can you talk about that actually while we're on that topic?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So basically after I spoke at Funnel Hacking Live, I taught this concept. I had a lot of people asking me about it, like, hey, how would this work for my niche? Or, hey, I tried to do a concept but didn't quite work. Can you help me through it? And so that was kind of, out of that came, well, geez, like there's a lot of people who are interested in this. Let me put something together. Let me put together a program. Let me put together a course. And so we're doing like a beta version of that coming up really soon. March 23rd, cart will be open for a week until I think Friday. And it's just going to be a really small group. Honestly, I'm not making a huge push. And it's going to be more about like, hey, let's get a little bit more access to me. Let's make sure that, I'm kind of in there and that we're really getting great results. And then we'll probably go through that whole process and then do kind of a more public launch, let's say, where it's like, cool, we've got the exact systems in place, we've done it, and then that'll kind of be the second group. But yeah, if anybody's interested in being that first beta group, they'll get a little more attention from me and kind of be in a small group setting. They can check it out, contestlaunchsecrets.com, and no matter what, that will be, I'll have that redirect to whatever the new cool thing is, whether if it's the next round or some training or something, so that they can join us and learn more.
Yeah. Bebe gives a thumbs up. So I'll right there, I put the comment, contestlaunchsecrets.com. Yeah, this is something that's not going to go away either. And I'm sure people can get creative with it. Like, what's the most creative thing you've seen someone you've taught, like with the contest, and like that you've learned from people?
Yeah, it's been cool to see how people do it in different ways. I mean, I've got one person that I'm working with who's actually looking to give away a house, and he's in the real estate space.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not. I feel like I've heard that before though.
Yeah. Hey, maybe there's more than one. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, it's just been fun to see how different people, approach it and figure out like, okay, what are we going to do for this first part, for the contest part? And then what are we going to end up launching on the back end of that and stuff. So it's been fun to see what different people are doing differently.
So there you go. Awesome, Ford. Yeah, actually, I think it was the Yeah, you can get tricky sometimes with marketing. Like Russell Brunson says, it gives away a car, but technically, they pay your lease.
Mm-hmm.
So there, you can do some clever things with your words.
True.
Cool. So there was a lot there. Obviously, if people want to get the full training step by step, like it's a legit training. Like there is no like pitch happening right now. It's just like boom, 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 and then you join the wait list. And then when it does open up, you can always get access to Gabe. But contestlaunchsecrets.com. I was watching it earlier. I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm probably gonna join, to be honest, dude. Yeah, was there? Do you feel like there's anything we didn't cover for people here?
No. I will just clarify that last thing, which is that right now, if you go to contestlaunchsecrets.com, it will actually take you to a training that I did, which is essentially taking the information that I taught at Funnel Hacking Live and actually even going a little bit deeper and doing a Q&A and stuff. So right now you go there, you can go watch that. I'm not pitching anything or anything. It's just pure value.
It's legit. Like it's like, like do this, then I do this. Like it's legit. So
yeah, so go check that out. And then once the actual program's open, then that'll be open, and then we'll have something cool after that. So yeah, come hang out.
I got some rapid fire, dude.
Okay.
So who is your favorite musician?
Ooh, favorite musician. Damn.
Of all time.
God, that's a tough one. I'm just gonna say one of the first producers that got me really, really interested in production that I was like, oh my God, how do they do that, is Timbaland. So I'm gonna say Timbaland.
Oh yeah, he's the best, dude. Like I was listening to some of his older tracks, like the ones like with Nelly Furtado. Like they're so like just captivating. Like what's it called? Like when the cats come out, the bats come out to play. Like that one is so catchy.
Yeah, he's so creative. So creative, the way his percussion, the everything he does is
yeah, and it's
so
like he's definitely like, like less is more. He shows in some cases. So have you got his masterclass that he did?
You know what? I haven't seen it yet. I've had a bunch of people tell me about it and that it's like fun. Like he doesn't really, from what I hear, he doesn't really like get into like teaching almost anything, but it's fun to just see him like be excited and like play stuff, I guess. So
yeah,
I gotta check it out.
They're not like super expensive, Like, at least I don't think. Like he's not sharing everything. Like it's not an education course.
Yeah.
What is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. Ooh, I'm gonna go. Man, I'm gonna go with the cat because I like to hang out, I like to chill. But sometimes I just, go all out and go crazy. It's like, you like be betting a cat.
Like not even like a cheetah, like just a house cat. Like
yeah, no, just a cool house cat. I like to watch Netflix and stuff. Like a cheetah like has to sleep outside and like, nah, I'm a house cat.
Oh man, they run fast though. Okay, cool house cat. You're a cool cat. Dang it, I had a good one here. I forgot. It was. I'll get back to it. What's like one thing, like the biggest thing you want to accomplish in life before you die?
Wow, these are tough questions. God, I have no idea.
You don't feel like rapid fire. They're pretty.
yeah. I will. I'll say this, and maybe this is just a cop out, but like I can tell you that what the expectations, the highest goal that I would have set for myself, even 5 years ago, is so much lower than where I am right now. So that when people say like, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years or whatever? I'm like, I have no idea. Like I really
focus on like what you have now, like momentum,
Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. Hopefully I get to keep having fun.
You don't have like doing, and like if I have this in life, like I'm done, like, or I know
Yeah, I don't have like the, what is it, like the Gary
Mount Rushmore type thing.
Jets or, I don't. Yeah, maybe I
how about this then? What would you say your biggest goal is that you could think of, like that you would want to get to in your life?
God, I don't know. I mean, I want to get that. So I want to get a 10X award. How about that?
I guess. I mean, I think you'll achieve that easy though. So
it's the next one. So
yeah,
let's go with that.
All right. I don't
have to think too far ahead.
Yeah. And what are you currently obsessed with?
What am I currently obsessed with? I mean, right now it's been contests. I've been like going deep on contests because now I'm teaching it. And so I'm learning all these different things about it, different types of giveaways, different ways to use it. So that's really what I've been geeking out on lately.
Nice. Anything you learned new recently that's big, or
really just the variety, and that there's so many different approaches and so many different ways to use it, which is awesome, and also is kind of like overwhelming for me because I'm like, what's the best way that I can teach this, and how do I, you know what I mean? So it's almost, it's that whole thing where like when you learn one thing, you realize all the things you don't know. But it's been fun.
Actually, I've had some people tell me about Gleam.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used that one?
I haven't used that one yet. Yeah, I have also heard some good things about it, so I'll have to look deeper into it. The one that I use the most, UpViral, I really like it. The one that I see a lot of is King Sumo, which
we use that, but we'll probably swap soon. There's like so many things you can do, and like I feel like they haven't updated the software in like 2 years. It looks so old.
Yeah, I think King Sumo is one where if you just want to get something up super quick, and it's probably good for that, but you don't have a lot of control. There's one called Viper that is, I think it's sort of like King Sumo in that sense, where it doesn't quite have all the control that something like UpViral has, but it looks a little bit cleaner, and it's I think probably easier to set up, because again, it is simpler, it's less options, but it's simpler. So those are kind of the ones that I've mostly looked at so far. But to me, the biggest thing that I like about UpViral is that it gives you the most options. And so for me, I'm using ClickFunnels to build all my pages. And so it integrates nicely with ClickFunnels. So then I have all the control over exactly what is the first page and second page, and like what does everything look like, as opposed to like a King Sumo, where it's at least part of it is hosted on their thing. Viper is completely hosted on their thing. So so that's the combination that I've liked, is UpViral and ClickFunnels.
Gotcha. You use do you use the business plan or the starter?
Ooh, I have to remember what I'm on. I don't even remember. I think I got on some special deal like a few years ago, and I can't even remember, to be honest.
Cool. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on, sharing your knowledge. If you guys are listening to the podcast, go join Contest Launch Secrets to learn what the heck this man's doing. Like, see a video of him walking through slide by slide, and deeper steps than what you presented at FHL on stage. And man, I appreciate you being here.
Man, it's my pleasure. It's always a pleasure to just hang out and chat, and appreciate you having me on. And man, thank you.
Cool. I'll end the broadcast here.